Hello everyone, welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. Today we are remote out in North Hampton at Cowerc. And today I have Michael Muldoon.
You betcha. Yep.
From Cowerc. How's it going?
Good. I'm doing awesome. Thanks for coming out, Chris.
Absolutely,
Nice to have you. Nice to host you out here. It's nice.
Absolutely. Thanks for hosting us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself and Cowerc.
Sure. So I've lived in the Seacoast area of New Hampshire for about 13 years now. By trade, I'm a physical therapist, but I'm kind of a funky one because I actually took a computer science minor in school when I started out because the PT market wasn't so great. Like, honestly, I kind of went in and it came out and it didn't look great. But I graduated around 2000, and that's when .com looked good.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me go a little bit deeper into this computer science realm. So started to do a little bit with computers, and then got a job in PT, but kept doing some stuff in computer science, which turned out to be my first software application early in 2000. And then mid-2000s or so started getting the app business. And that kind of kept doing my PT stuff, but kept working on the app side with it. And outgrew the basically basement office that I had at my house for a time, and needed an office outside where I could get some stuff done, like interviews and things like that, or be able to get some office work done. And so I started looking around for places, couldn't find what I needed, and the co-working movement started to become more. So I reached out to some people who were doing it and said, hey, can you help me figure out if this is a viable option for me? Found a space right here in North Hampton, which was close to home, important for me, and then opened Cowerc just January this year. So we've kind of been open, October, we've been open 10 months.
Oh,
did that.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's the story that led us here today. Quick of it.
Yeah, very cool. So let's get into that. So why co-working spaces? You know, there's tons of other options out there. So what drove you to this?
Yeah, so I mean, what drove me a little bit to doing this is I've always been somebody who helped people, and I look at that. So with physical therapy, did that a ton. You know, whether somebody has a physical condition, you're trying to get them back to where they need to go. With software, it's always trying to do that. Been in management for 10 years in the PT business, so it's trying to help somebody grow who they are and what they're trying to do in their career. And I realized I really had an affinity to that. I really enjoyed helping other people to be able to take what is their idea, their thought, their inspiration to a new level and to make that more. And I thought co-working gave me the ability to do that. It allowed me to kind of have a space where I could work out of, but have a space where other people could be able to work, but also more than just work out of it, to provide a community for them, to provide people around them that can help them get to where they need to go. And so that's why we kind of came up with the Cowerc, the name. You know, it's a little bit different than what you'd think for working, but it's COWERC. And the way we looked at that was really, we are community. So it's like we are community in terms of that with it. And I think it's about more than just the space that we have here. It's about the community we're trying to build. Whether it's somebody who's has a small business show who's come out who needs a space for the day, or it's somebody who's an architect who lives who's coming to the beach this summer. We had a ton of people who were coming to the beach and rented a space but needed a space to work. And just those connections, I think, are great. I love making a connection, meeting people, and that was a great way to be able to facilitate that through this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, because I know the co-working thing is kind of catching on, like you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you see people either misconceptions about it, or is there anything that puts people off about this type of
environment? I think some people don't understand it, right? So it's different and it's new, and it's like a lot of times I'll say, I have the co-working space that's in North Hampton when I meet people in the area who are maybe already known. Like, what? You have the what and what? I know in North Hampton, but what's a co-working space?
Yeah.
They don't know that. Some major metropolitan cities have that. Mm-hmm. So if you look at Boston and even Portsmouth and things has it. So they think of it as a city. I think the best example I give to people is if they're familiar with Uber and they're familiar with Lyft and all those things. That's, you have a car and you've got that, and you're not using that car all the time. So you're going to help somebody else by using it as transportation. What co-working is very similar to like a gym, right? So you have a gym, and you don't want to have the 2.5 to 150-pound weights that are in there,
Yeah.
right? And you don't want to have 10 treadmills, and you don't want to have bikes.
Yeah.
What co-working is we have the space here that we have the ability for a desk to be able to have that. We have ability for monitors. We have ability for a conference table to meet with people. We have high-speed internet, which you have good upload speeds, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do and upload things really quick, right?
Yeah.
That you probably wouldn't have at your home. But you aren't at that spot where you need a full-size office with multiple people to have. So you're starting something up, or you're two people that are trying to do things, and you don't need it every day of the week. So it's that ability for a community to be able to have a space, but share the costs of that. And I think we're getting into more of that with our society, where we're sharing those things. And I think realistically, we're getting back to what we already did. Whether you were somebody who had crops and you had corn, and somebody else had some tomatoes and apples, but you had turkeys, and we all came together. We're hitting that time of the year, right? It was to come to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Everybody came together to help each other out. It's really, we're just coming back to that same thing.
Yeah.
Right? We're making a space where everyone can help each other out and help make their dreams, their realities better, come true.
Yeah.
That type of thing. It's
Yeah.
about community.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I forget the exact statistics on it, but I know most businesses are small businesses, and most businesses are just one person. That's how it is kind of around the country. And a lot of those places either get stuck working from home, or they have to find a space for their business, and that a lot goes into that. Like last month's rent, rent every month, electricity, your internet typically. So there's a lot of costs to having your own office. So this type of space is really cool, and I like that a lot because it kind of takes a lot of that pressure out of the way.
Yeah, no, it does. It definitely takes the pressure off, and we're kind of a little bit unique too, because we're more than just office-wise with it. And I know we were talking earlier. We've done some stuff with some of our members who have some retail businesses that are mainly online.
Yeah.
And then what they said is, well, can we do a pop-up shop? And so, nice part about Cowork is I built a lot of these walls and everything. They're all movable. There's nothing solid here.
Yeah.
Because realistically, change always happens.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to embrace that change. And so, Cowork changes around. It looks different on a different day. So, some of those members had a pop-up shop for the weekend. Took this whole space and made it into a nice retail space, hung up their things, had T-shirts, sweatshirts, all those things here. And we're able to have that for a day. And I tell you, it was awesome. My son came over with me and kind of came in and looked at it. He's just fun for them to meet other entrepreneurs too. My kids, my daughter's been on our little show that we have. She's a babysitting business. And I think just to see that you can take a day and make your business come to reality without having to have a space all the time is awesome. And if I'm helping somebody to do that, I mean, life's awesome.
Yeah.
To see that you've tried to help somebody move forward, it's a super payment, type of thing.
Yeah, because kind of off the last thing I'd said and what you had just said, a lot of entrepreneurs are in that place where, they have a normal job, they have their little side hustle, and it's getting to the point where, they need an office outside of the house, but they don't want the costs. It's not so big that they need their own space all the time. So it's really cool that, again, entrepreneurship in the entrepreneurial world, there are solutions to that people just don't even realize.
Yeah. And even so, I mean, some of our members are people who work for major companies.
Yeah.
That actually they work out of here. So rather than working out of home, I've got some people who work for big companies. They come here because they know they have the internet to be able to use. They have a quiet space to be able to get some work done. But as well, they don't have that piece where it's like, there's the laundry. Oh boy, I got to get it done.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the grass. It's getting longer. There's leaves falling out there. I'm going to have to go rake them up.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of times they'll say, you talk about Mark Zuckerberg, Tony Hsieh, a little bit, that how Zuckerberg wears the same thing all the time. And Tony Hsieh will do the same thing from Zappos. And they will say that the reason they do that is so they don't have to make a lot of decisions. Because they don't want to make those decisions. They want to save their mental energy for better decisions. I think sometimes what happens is when you have all those things around you and you're working from home on a day, you create interruptions.
Yeah.
to your flow. And I know we talked about John Lee Dumas and things like
Yeah.
that and things like that. And obviously, he would say you're losing your focus, and that's follow one course until success, right? That's how he defines it.
Yeah.
And I think to come and have a time where you know you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours in a space, you're coming here and your focus is on getting those things done you need to get done.
Yeah.
You've now allowed yourself the ability to be able to free up the rest of your day. To spend 3 hours and focus on what you need to get done for your small business and then have the rest of the day. That's what you're doing when your business is going to be part of your life, and not that what happens is your business is your life. And I think that's the balance that's hard for a lot of people to strike. And how do they do that? I honestly never think you create something that you won't use or isn't for you. And that's why when I created Coworc, I needed that space where 2-3 hours I could come in. I knew I could have the space to be able to use it, to be able to get done the things I need to get done, and go home to my family.
Yeah.
Go home to do something else. Go home to live the rest of my life that I need to do, so that it fits into it. And I think it's an important part, because you never want it to envelop you.
Yeah.
Because then it gets to be too much.
Yeah. And I like what you said about Zuckerberg's clothing, because there's something, it's almost like the concept of like a uniform or a mask. Like when you put it on, the state you're supposed to be in at that particular point, and if you mix home and work a little too much, like you're like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? And you you create all these crazy interruptions, where it's easy when you're like, okay, you get out, you step into your space, and you're like, okay, I'm here to work. And it kind of helps segment your life a little bit. It's almost like put on that mask. You're like, okay, it's time to do this. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, so one of my, as I decided to start Coworc up, I kind of reached out to people, as I said. And so one of the guys, Tony, who's kind of my mentors, that helps talk through some things. He's run some co-working spaces and helps other people to do it. One of the great things that we've done here is to create basically work sprints. So where we have a couple hours where people know that everyone in here is focused on something, and we start off by saying, okay, what are you focused on, Chris?
Yeah.
What are you focused on, Shaq? What are you focused on? Okay, there. Let's put it up there. Put it on the whiteboard. We're all doing this. And then at the end and we set a Pomodoro timer for 25 minutes. You're focused in on it. End of that, you got 5 minutes. Decompress. What are you gonna do? Go relax. Go walk around. Another 25 minutes and go in. You do high intensity interval training if you're trying to do exercising, right? That's how you do it. I know I can push for this long, and then I'll get a break.
Yeah.
Then what I like, what he's called is we all create to-do lists, right? It's like, I gotta do this. What he says is after what we try and do is create a to-done list. So at the end of that work sprint, these are the things I got done.
Yeah.
This is what I accomplished, right? You feel better about that. You feel better, like, I got this done, right? It's kind of the check-off list, but it's like, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
I moved this forward today.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point, because people, like you said, people often, they don't celebrate the things they get off the list, because you just move on to that ever progressing list of things you need to get done as a business owner. When you turn around and you're like, oh, look how far we've come today. I've got X amount done. Outstanding. They're like, oh man, I still have to do this and this and this and this.
Yeah, and you have to celebrate the to-dones. We'll come up this year in January and we'll celebrate our 1 year. Have we accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish here? Nope, we haven't. There's other things I wish I could have done. There's always a wish list.
Yeah.
But I think to even celebrate some of the things that we did, like we got our walls built.
Yeah.
We've got our internet going. We've got the floors done. We've got all of our desks up. We've got members that have come in here. We've done this many shows. We've done this many events. We've had all these things. Let's look at what we've done. Mm-hmm. Then let's look at what we want to do.
Yeah.
More, type of thing. And is there alignment with your life plan? And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs don't have clarity within that. And I know we talked about the standpoint of, you said, where do I want to go with Coworc? What do I want to do? And, have multiple locations. I would, I'd like to have one up north, kind of North Conway, Bartlett area, somewhere in that corridor. to be able to have a space where I can go up there and do it. Because I think changing your location is good to do that. But I like to, that's where I actually went up and reworked my life plan. So every year, every quarter, I go through and I have my life plan.
Yeah.
Like what I want my life to look like. And went up to Conway this year, sat down for my 4 hours to review my life plan, make sure like where was I at. And I looked, one of those things was Cowerc. I wanted to do that. And it's funny because I didn't do a good job of doing my quarterly review of my life plan. I didn't. If I'm admitting to it, this year better. This second cycle of it better. I didn't do a good job looking at quarterly. But then in looking back at my yearly plan, I realized how much of this space was in my plan.
Yeah.
And how much I said, I actually accomplished all that I said I wanted to do without ever looking at it again. But I guess that means I really did want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I got that done.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they have their small business, is it aligning that business with what you want your life to look like? Because we all have that ability to do that.
Yeah.
We all have the ability to write our own plan. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
We are so lucky to be able to do that. We can plan whatever we want it to look like for the end. Like, none of us know the end, right? No,
Yeah.
Nobody does. I haven't met anybody that says, like, I know when the end is going to be.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know that finality point. I can guarantee it's probably going to happen, right?
Yeah.
We're pretty solid.
Yeah. It's the only guarantee in life.
It probably is the only guarantee left. Although if you listen to the Joe Rogan Elon Musk thing, I'm not sure if you listened to that podcast with
No,
it.
I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing.
I would listen to it more than actually go ahead and watch it, probably because I think you might get distracted from watching it, type of thing with that. Is that one of the things that he was saying was the whole piece that they're working on, the neural link.
Yeah.
Like, so the ability to do that. And if you think about how that works, is that like, what if you could download your personality,
Yeah.
so to speak, if the computer learned well enough about you that it could kind of keep a virtual image of you.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking that, what we do and how we live on in a different way has changed so much today
Yeah.
than it was 20, 30 years ago. What we're doing right now, theoretically, will live on way past our years.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Our parents probably not, definitely not our grandparents, had the ability to do that.
Yeah.
They didn't have that ability for this media to live on.
Yeah.
That somebody could say, I want to watch my great-grandfather when he was sitting at Cowerc have an interview with Chris.
Yeah.
Right? So I think we have a great opportunity today to create our life plan and allow what our legacy looks like to live on. And everyone has the choice for that.
Yeah.
So you never want to make somebody else's choice yours, but you definitely want to try and support theirs.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people for small business, that's their choice. Like, they want to see it. And you've seen multi-generational businesses live on, and that's how they keep their legacy going. That's been a part of their family story.
Yeah.
Who knows what a lot of these small businesses will look like in 100, 150 years.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause especially with the speed technologies increasing and changing and developing, things are going to look very, very different, even 5-10 years down the road. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
It will be. I do think it will be. And I think leveraging those technologies for your plan is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I always think you have to have a plan first.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what you want today to look like, tomorrow to look like, because you have the ability to leverage that. Today, right now, being present, sitting here talking with you,
Yeah.
I have the ability to have that, right? I can figure out what I want tomorrow. I can look back at the past, but I can't influence it at all.
Yeah.
It's already done,
Yeah.
right? So I think that how do we move forward with what and help everybody do what they want to do? I've had members that have sat down with me and said, I didn't realize what you do here is that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's not, we are community. Part of it is not just the space. part of it is sitting down and helping somebody process through that journey that they're on
Yeah.
and figure out what's their next step. Where do they want to go? How are they creating happiness? What is making them happy?
Mm-hmm.
And how do they continually do that more and more so that they feel fulfilled and that they get to live out their legacy?
Yeah.
And that's a fun part of doing that. So that's a long answer to your question of why did you start Cowork?
Okay.
And I think that's why, because it gives me the opportunity to continue to help other people in a different way.
I like it. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So people that want to learn a little more about you, get in touch. How do they reach you?
Yeah, so if they just go to www.cowork.com, they can go there. Email address is mike@cowork.com, cowerc.com. They can email me there. That works good. Yeah. Kind of, yeah. There's social media hashtags and things like that, but we go there. It's at Cowork NH type of thing. That's where we got that. Yeah, and I think that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're kind of good like that. We actually have all those working for us. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know a lot of small companies have issues getting all of those mediums working.
Yeah.
They'll do like one and then a little piece of another one. And,
Yeah. Well, I think that, but learning how to use tools is an important part, and I think whether you have a hammer, a screwdriver, a saw, to be able to make things, and I think that's why I like to make the walls and things like that by hand. All those media services and whatever tool you use to connect out is just getting your message out. And hey, I think when you get your message out, don't be like all happy-go-lucky. That's like everything's great. It's like, no, we're struggling. We still need to try and break even. We need some more members.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Be legit. This is how I think. This is the struggle of a small business.
Yeah.
You need to get going. And so not everyone's doing great? No. You know what I mean? Like don't go, but are you working harder to get better every day? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's what you want.
Oh, like it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. This has been fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming out. Glad to host you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. That is it for today. I will see you all next time as we continue our remote out here at Cowork.